Hi, this is Jan Guarino and you're in Fearless Watercolors. And tonight we're going to be doing a little warm up with colors and people and rain reflections. So let me show you what we're going to be doing. Switch cameras here. Welcome, welcome. Okay, here we go. This is the photo that I found. I fell in love with it. You guys must have also, because you're here wanting to paint this with me. I did move the people up a little bit, but you know what? I kind of ended up in the middle. And I really was hoping, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to crop off some more of the top and maybe the sides, because I really should not have the horizon line dead center. It's just, you know, it shouldn't be in the center here. You'll notice they're a little off to the right, and it really shouldn't be this way. They're maybe a little bit off, but it's just a little too close for comfort. So I'll probably end up cropping this a little tighter than it really is. But I wanted to just do a little warm up with you guys first to get our colors. And of course, here we have our, our blues, right? And we have some beautiful oranges. So they're complementary colors and they work really, really well together. So the first thing I want to do is just, I know I gave you these figures, but I really want to show you, I'm going to simplify them even more. So they're going to be simplified even more than I drew them. And when I looked at it, I was like, I shouldn't have drawn with so many details. So the first thing you want to think about, and I did lower the umbrella on them, is, let me do it this way, and I'll go a little closer. So I just want to draw the umbrella. I'm just going to do one person, okay? And the thing about the umbrella is, of course, these, sections. So draw with me. And I'm really not going to put them in leather coats or hats or glasses or anything. I really should not have given you all of that. Heads are not round, they're rectangular. Okay, so you want your head to be rectangular. Give me shoulders. And then give me, let's put them more in silhouette. I really don't need both legs. Again, one leg could be in front and one leg could be like bent, okay? And then our second person, you want them connected. So she's a little lower. Again, her shoulders. This is all going to be connected. One leg is dominant and then the other leg is sort of shorter, okay? That's really what we're talking about, is that kind of shape. And so I'm going to show you how this works. So I'm going to take my number 10 brush and I'm just going to do it in one color for right now. I'm just going to take my indigo and I'm just going to give us a little bit of a shape for the umbrella, right? And I'm going to not even really worry about separating them right now. I just want to get the basic shapes of their heads, not round, rectangular. And connect them, make sure their shoulders and their bodies are connected. Just using my indigo. And I'm going to come down and basically one leg. And there's the other one. It's a little shorter because he's kind of walking. And then same thing with her, one leg and then a little shorter. This is, we could go in and do more detail in this whole figure, but we probably won't need to do it. And we're going to carry it down into rain reflections, melt it down. And then we'll build, the umbrella a little bit behind them, right? And then, of course, we could always go in a little darker on just them. We could even add a little bit of if we wanted to do it as a 2-color, or we could use a little bit of our dragon's blood, right? Just a little bit of dragon's blood will signify their faces. Maybe a little bit with their hands. We really don't need a whole lot. and that's not a bad combination, by the way. Indigo and dragon's blood. That was just a little quick demo. I'm going to definitely be simplifying our people a lot. They look a little too heavy. Generally, when you do people, you make them thinner. Everybody kind of appreciates that, right? And so our water reflections will be a little bit of horizontal and a little bit vertical. And we'll practice that also. Just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a little heads up about that. So you could see really quickly, it really does start looking exactly, not exactly like that, because we have the photo. We don't need to, have it be precise, but getting this idea of a head, which is triangular, the body, right? If you put two legs, it just starts looking a little too busy. Even in here, 4 legs, it's just a little too busy. 1 leg is kind of all you need, believe it or not. It's kind of crazy to say that, but you really don't need. So just practice this for a little bit. And I just want you to get the feel for doing people this way. And if you want to drop in a little bit of orange into their faces, you could definitely use your dragon's blood. You can use your Schmanky orange. You can use your benzimida. You could really find any orange that really speaks to you. If I drop in a little bit of my benzimida, it's a little more opaque. I think the dragon's blood is really the right way to go, to tell you the truth. I just think that that's the right orange. So we want it to be very painterly, okay? So just with a little bit of a little close again for you guys, okay? If you just came on, we're doing a warm-up on a scrap piece of paper. We're just doing people. So these reflections are really cool because they really are horizontal. And if we wanted a little bit bluer, maybe go for your cobalt blue. That's nice and bright. That looks really good. And just keep practicing them until you have a comfort with your scribbly shapes. Obviously, it's a man and a woman walking together. They're under this umbrella, which we can build this umbrella with our darks a little bit after it's dry. It's a little too wet to do it right now. Okay. So again, and if you want to start with a little dragon's blood on the head, again, it's little rectangular, and then go in and connect their bodies. Don't really need arms or anything. You just kind of need the shoulders. So just want you to practice that a little bit. Yeah, I know he's got his arm down and he's holding something, and I get all of that. But we're going to simplify all of that. We're going to use that as our inspiration, but we're really not going to paint that. We're not going to paint faces, maybe a little bit. We'll see. I think this is way more interesting to do it this way. Okay, so here is our dragon's blood. And indigo. And here I get it a little bit with a little cobalt. So let me back out and show it to you. Hold on, here we go. So this is the photo. I think my contour is not as I would like it to be, just a little too fussy. So I'm going to simplify that. Okay. So that's one is people. You don't really want to go back into here too much. So if you want to just make sure you practice getting like a good amount of color in there to start with, because all the water will definitely water it down. It'll make it very light. That's really a big part of our painting. So that is lesson number 1 that I wanted to show you guys. The other thing was with just the water reflection, and we touched upon it a little bit here, but I want to do it a little bit more. So let's put this here. So what we're going to do is take our flat brush, and let's see, I have oh, well, I have a lot of flats. So here we go. All right. And so now we have our person. I'm going to take a little bit of my indigo and a little bit of cobalt with quite a bit of water, and coming down, I want you to get some nice watery vertical stripes. Maybe different variety of intensity, different amounts of values. Okay. And I want you to get used to having this sort of be very soft, or all of this going super soft. So we're imagining the people's feet are up here, and now we're doing the reflections, the rain reflections. It's probably a little too small, this brush. I probably need a little bit bigger brush. So this is about an inch. And you could also take your dragon's blood. Okay, I'll use my little smaller brush for that, and go in and just add some. You see how this has like those color reflections? So if I wet this all across, the whole bottom half of the painting is going to be wet. You're really letting, look at that explosion going on, right? And so what you're doing is you're sort of getting a hang of how much paint into how much water. That's what we're doing. Sort of getting a feel for that. And then with absolutely no paint on my brush at all, just some water, I'd like to see you go across while it's wet. See what happened? And down a little bit. Just practice this a little bit. Because if you understand the hang of it, that will give you, let me back out a second, that'll start giving us this really rainy reflections. So just practice that for me a little bit and get the hang of that. How much water to how much paint? Obviously, that's a lot of paint. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it around horizontal and vertical. Take a big brush and go across. You take a big brush and go vertical. Oh, that was good. That was a good one. What you don't want is to create a pattern. Okay. I know we kind of want to, I kind of started a little bit there, but you want to break up those patterns that you might have created. Meaning equal distance, equal size, equal, same. We don't want that. And you don't want it, even if you see it in the photo, that just doesn't make it interesting. But I think that this is starting to look pretty watery and great complementary colors. And just get the hang of working. When you put too much down, just do something with it. Don't lift it off. Move it into your painting. Have some fun with it. Drop water going across, drop water going vertical. Because that's the whole half of the painting right there, just like that. That's what it's going to be. So I really want you to get a feel for that, because this is going to be the whole bottom half of the painting. Don't have a pattern, but drop in those nice lights, those nice reflections. Don't have any edges really. These edges should all just kind of go soft. I just have edges on the top because I wasn't paying attention, but I could fix it easy enough. And that is our 2 warm-ups. We're going to see how that applies. The other thing that I wanted to do was this doorway here. I thought it would be interesting if we stamped it with our paper. We could also do it by doing our rigger, right? We could do that. If you haven't used these little paper strips, they're little pieces of 300 pound that I've cut. And what I do is, if I have what I love to call palette mud in my palette, I'll just go in and rub this onto my palette, rub the paper on my palette, or I could simply paint the edge of this, and I could create that door. Let me go closer for you. Sort of takes on that Asian feel. And then what I would do is I would melt some of the marks with a little bit of water. So that was just another little thing I wanted you to practice. We could also do that with a rigger, but that was how I wanted to get that screen going on. So that is kind of the elements of what we're doing tonight. Really love the dragon's blood, indigo, and cobalt. So those will be our 3 colors. Oh, you know what? I'm really sorry. I didn't really show you how I did this. I was off screen. I think I missed that. I'm not sure. Did I get it? Did you guys see that or no? I'll do it again. You got to tell me when I'm off screen.
I think we saw it, Jan.
You think you saw it? All right. Thanks, Dodie. I wasn't sure. I looked up and I'm like, well, wait a minute. That wasn't on the screen. Sometimes when I go close, I have to move the paper around a little bit too. Or we could do it with a rigger. Okay, that is, and I got this really cheap brush because you could also use something like this if you really wanted to get to go super wide with it. If you're doing a big painting, you could use a big brush like this. I think that it's just, we're not going to be working a size that will be conducive to that, but you can use these big floppy brushes, cheap brushes, to kind of get that feel of real watery going on, real feeling of a rainy street. So those are the warm-ups. So that was our little warm-ups. I think that they will help you. Now, as I said, I gave you way too much information here. There's just too much information. It's really not going to be like that. I'm really going to simplify all of the drawing, just got so busy and I don't even know what I was thinking. But there is a beautiful background. I don't know if we feel like doing that. I think maybe we could do that a little bit. So let's get some nice colors going on the top. The people, we practice a little bit, and the bottom is going to go super, super fast. So let's start with this right back here. I moved over the lamppost over there because I thought that that would look pretty good. And the reason why I'm just kind of adding some color, there's kind of a tree behind them. I don't know. It isn't necessary. We could even put like a gray sky, and maybe that would be even more interesting than that tree. I don't know. Does anybody have a feeling about that? I'm feeling like the tree is just not really. All right, I'm going to add some indigo in here. I'm going to make it kind of like a rainy kind of sky. And nothing's more perfect than that, than indigo for that kind of feeling. It's kind of wet. I see that you see what you see. It's a little on the wet side.
What kind of sky did you want?
Like a stormy, a little stormy grayish.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I'm using my indigo. You could actually go right through these people because they're going to be indigo also, right? You could really go right to the horizon line. Let's just play with that for a second. It's just a very light tint. But I do have some nice stormy clouds going on up here. And that's just what indigo, my indigo gives me, is that kind of stormy. Oh, look at that. Did you see that explosion? Wait a minute, you got to see this. That is like just what I want. Not all the hair from my brush that keeps falling off, but I sort of went through my people. They're going to get darker. So this is a situation where we just don't have to save our darks. We just don't have to. So I'm sort of just going through all of this just so that it's soft. It's really, really soft. Okay, all of this is just, I don't want a hard edge anywhere. And you can either take a flat edge brush or an angled flat brush. When I'm doing architecture, I really do like to have a flat brush. Angled is good, flat is good. They're both really, really good. They're good ways to go. And I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start on my left side. And I'm just going to start building some of the architecture. I love these Chinese lanterns, so I'm going to save those for sure. And I'll just switch brushes, and I just want to carry that down. Now, I don't have to give them all the information. So you could just have this kind of come down, right? There's a lantern. I love the Chinese lanterns. Those are going to be beautiful. And this is going to be orange. So I'm going to have my flag orange. So I'm just coming down. I already kind of figured I'm going to be cutting off about a couple of inches, an inch or two off of my left side. And I'm just carrying this down, and I'm just getting a little bit of tone in here. Okay, just building it. It helps not to have a white piece of paper. That really does help us. This brush will definitely be not lasting a very long time because I keep losing so many bristles, so many pieces. I'm just suggesting with a little bit of water, some of these doors and things like that. We'll be going further with all of this. Okay, I'll be doing a lot more with all of that. Just started. And I'm going to take my dragon's blood and with a little bit of water, it's a little wet right now. I'm just going to drop this in to the flag just to give it a little bit of color. If it bleeds, it's kind of a rainy day, so I'm not really going to worry about that too much. I could go back in and this is just working really wet into wet. We could go back in at any time and add detail. Now it is bleeding, so let me show you. See what's happening? It is bleeding, but I don't really care about that. I'm like, it's fine. We're going to build it more. Most people would be afraid of that, but that's kind of the thinking I would like for you to not worry about, especially so early in the painting. See how much darker we could go. We could build all of this much darker. But I love the idea of all of this sort of just playing together. And let's hold off on doing them and just come over and do a little architecture on the right side. Just the same way, just very loose right now, very loose. Just gonna get a few more marks in here. And this is wet, so it just spread a whole lot. And areas are a little drier, so those drier areas will definitely be a lot more sharper. But don't worry about either of them, okay? Don't worry about either of them. This is just part of this growth that we want to take into being a little bit more looser. That's a little bit of cobalt. Wanted to add a little bit of cobalt because I want to put that in the reflections. So I'm just going to go back and whoops, drop a little cobalt in here. You can use your angled brush if that helps you. I know it looks so scary, doesn't it? Looks just so scary. It's okay. We're good. This is a new brush that I've been using. I really like it. It's called King Art. And I really like it. There's an art store here that I was going in to get some brushes and they recommended it. I'm so glad they did. I'm glad I took them up on their recommendation, actually, because it's really a wonderful, wonderful brush. All melted together. This is just one. It just isn't going to look like anything till we go back in and we start playing with details and building it. I really have some major explosions going on. And I know that that's scary. So I'm thinking it would be nice to do one orangey red umbrella and one blue one. You could do either one, either way, whichever kind of works for you. I think I'm going to make this one the blue one. And I'm just going to add a wash here to it. Let me go closer for you guys. Some spots are bleeding out and some spots are holding their edge. Don't worry about the spots that are bleeding out because we're going to build those. Okay. See how I just added a little bit right there? When the areas that are dry will come in very handy to do that. A little indigo. Remember our people. Back out and show you how that reads. My paper's kind of dry over here, so it's not really spreading. Spreading a little bit on that right side. Because this leg is shorter, you get the feeling like they're walking. I'm just making sure that that edge is sort of soft enough that we could build it. I want to just show you how easy it is to take an area that was very wet and really bled so badly and fix it really nicely, but still have that bleeding behind it. We can build those things. Just wanted to show that to you. And still it bled, but it's still able to go darker, right? Go darker and find the marks that we want. It's a rainy day, you know, so if we wanted to, we could go a little bit even darker with finding that edge again on the lantern. That's how easy it is to do, right there. Once it's dry, you really can go back in. All of those other marks are just suggestive, watery things going on, and this becomes the conversation. Just wanted to show that to you. You could do that at any time. And I'll just show you a quick correction technique. If you want to sort of find this edge, you just take a brush that with a little bit of water on it, and you can lift and blend and go ahead and find that edge if you really, really want to. Okay, this is just a little correction technique with a flat angled brush. It's really too early to be thinking that, but I just wanted to show that to you in case you're getting upset that everything is bleeding. So I think I'm going to give these guys maybe another kind of blue umbrella. A little bit more indigo in this one. And I lowered it so that their heads would be sort of in the umbrella more. I'm not going to do faces. Just a rectangle. I'll go closer for you guys. Time it. That's a little cobalt and some indigo. His shoulders, that's the important thing to get is the shoulders. I think her arm there is kind of important, their hands, right? So I'm going to use my dragon's blood for their hands for sure. Switch back my color. One hand is holding it, her hand is holding his. It's almost the center of interest, actually. That's his leg and his foot there, kind of walking. I exaggerated it. I'm going to do the same thing with her. I want to explain something about putting people in planes. Also, this is all their feet are really equal in terms of where they are in space. So that's really important. Let me back out and show you how that looks. So our eye level, they're all eye level, right? They're all eye level. That's important to see that. Just dropping a little more color into them. She got a little lost, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to her. Now's the time to do it. Now that it's dry. But I don't want her stronger than those two. That's what I don't want. What's back here? I have no idea. Stuff. Street stuff. Remember, when your orange and your blue mix, you're going to tone them down, okay? And I really hope you all stay on because I really want to see everybody's painting. So no jumping off the call. I really want to see it. Please. Because you may think it's a hot mess and I'm going to see the possibility and give you suggestions. On how to finish it. Or what needs to be done. So no jumping off the call. Please. Just charging this up a little bit. Getting a little bit more drama. I'm going to move away from this area. See how easily I could build an area that got a little muddy? Could really go in and just do it any time. That's why this way of working works so well. It almost looks like they're running. By the height of that leg, those back legs, it looks like they're kind of running towards us. That's kind of cool. And now we have more people back here. So we're just going to put little dots of for heads. We'll close it for you. So what you don't want to do is have them all be same size. They're smaller as they go back into space, but we want to have, we don't want to have them evenly spaced. So we want to be sure we have a lot of room for umbrellas. And people. I'm pretty much sticking with my 3 colors so far. Connect the people in the back. Make sure you connect them. They shouldn't be all separated equal distance from each other. They really need to merge. It looks like there's a lot of people that way. There's a tendency to not have them overlap or touch or whatever, but you really do want them to be connected. It shows that there's just more going on than what you have having in your painting. There's suggestions of people and things going on, people behind, and all of the umbrellas and it's funny how quickly it could look like something. And I'm just going to go a little bit more of this architecture here while you're working on your people. You know what you're doing. You know you're working on your people. And I'm just going to ask everybody not to judge it too fast because there's a tendency to do that. And sometimes it's the littlest marks that make such a difference. Some Asian kind of feeling marks going on there. You know how much I love streetlights. I'm not sure why, but I do. And I really can't wait to do a little Chinese lettering, although I have no idea how to do that, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. Just indicating some kind of architecture here. Not really giving it a whole lot of attention. Just paying a little bit of attention to it. Because after this, the big answer is really, yes, doing a lot of this kind of thing here, but also the bottom really does so much of the talking for us. So I really didn't have pants and jacket and all of that. I didn't feel like that was, I know I drew it and it's not what I really, when I thought about it, it was just not going to be as interesting as I think this would be, and as good of a lesson as people in a landscape as this is. Now I can take my, I just want to show you guys that I can take my paper and it's too big. It's pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to paint this with some colors. I even have like multiple colors on. I'm going to put cobalt and dragon's blood, and I could just put this down and drag it and give some feeling of architectural marks, right? We could take some of those marks with a clean brush. It's not a clean brush, and just kind of melt them in a little bit. Hold on to some of them. This is really a great, great way to paint. And it's scary. I get it.
Jan, the underside of the umbrella, is that dragon's blood by his head?
Here,
Yes, the underside of no, go to the guy. The umbrella by his head, is that dragon's blood?
the faces are dragon's blood, yes.
But what about the umbrella? Is that indigo?
Indigo and a little bit of cobalt.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Notice I have like little sparky whites going on. If you lost your whites, don't worry. You could get some back if you really want them. Yeah, I've only used dragon's blood for my orange and cobalt and indigo for my blues. I just gave her a little hat. I want to point out that like his foot is not even really attached to his leg, which is a nice little fun technique that you could try. Don't even connect them. Don't even have them be connected. It's a little wobbly, but let's fix that. I want to just have a little bit more atmosphere over here. Bit of my indigo. So you could see the people get smaller, but their feet are basically on the same plane. Looks like a really rainy day, which is what I was really going for. Just giving some indication of things going on back here. Those little angled up, those little curly things that go up, it's very Asian. You want those. They really say Asian architecture. So this little curl here, that little curl there, that really speaks. And when I drop my dragon's blood into my indigo or my blue, it tones them down and it gives a beautiful brownish gray color. I think I probably need to add some people over here. Looks like I almost started to. So maybe. I'm really using my mat to control just how much water is on my brush. I change it, I wipe it on my mat, and I really do find that I can control my moisture on the how much water's in my brush. Sorry, I just lost track of my thought, what I was saying. I mean, I knew what I was saying, I just couldn't find my words. I knew what I wanted to say and I just couldn't find the words because I'm too busy painting and having a ball here. Just giving it the in between here some marks. Some stuff going on. You don't have to give me all the information. You really don't have to. It's not necessary. I just need some information. I'm going to really fine brush to do that little work that I want to do there. Maybe I'll use a rigger to do it. The little marks, little Chinese letters. Well, I'm kind of suggesting it. I'm moving forward quickly because I want to show you where this can go to. Okay, that's what that's why don't try to keep up with me. If you can't, don't worry about it. I'm not looking for you to speed paint, but I do want to show you where this painting can go with all of those initial marks that we made. That's what I'm looking to do right now, is just kind of show you how to bring it about. Now, if you can't paint a straight line or you're a little nervous about painting a straight line, use the paper that I showed you. That's what you would do. Little, have some fun with your details. Take your time with them. You can make them as perfect or as artistically interpretive as you want to. I'm being pretty artistically interpretive right now. But I want to work this fast to show you, I know you're not up to this, but I just want to show you what can happen with your painting by adding these little details when it's dry. Some about flags, lanterns, all this stuff is just great stuff. Notice I'm using vertical and horizontal marks to sort of make the suggestion of something going on. So think about, you don't know what it is, and you don't have to know what it is. And you don't have to tell the viewer what it is. You just have to let them know that something is going on architecturally, vertically, horizontally, with some marks. I think I'm going to be cropping over here, guys. I think that's where I'm going to be, as I said earlier. These King Art brushes have nice tips to them. Normally I would be going for a smaller brush or a rigger to do it, but this brush seems to be doing a good job. I'm just looking at my whites. Oh, I just may fill in some of them. I like this one right here because that says that her arm is there. And we're not that far away from doing the reflections, and I want to do them sooner than later, because that's a big part of the story, is those reflections. So I'd like you all to just get ready for that because that's going to make a big, big difference to everything. I know people who would do this with perfection. They wouldn't be wrong. It would just be different. They would want to tell the entire story to the viewer. And something very interesting, I taught a class earlier today with Il Chiostro, and it turned out a little different than I thought it was going to. And, you know, I like to go with it when that happens. I like to see where the painting goes, and I don't like to over control it, right? And Michael, who was giving through Il Chiostro, Michael, he said that, and I'll show you the painting. He said it looks like the Castel de Sans Angelo looked like it was in a mist. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I didn't really go for that. That wasn't what I was, you know, going for, but it happened. And so they gave me the name, which was Miss Castile. That's what I call it. And I'll just show it to you quickly because it's a little softer than a lot of my other paintings, but I went with it, right? I just went with it. And this whole softness back here and whatnot, and you know, the softer colors and whatnot, I didn't try to over control it. And so it gave me an opportunity for him to come into the painting and sense something, and that he spoke about. And I was like so happy that he was invited into the painting to do that for me. I left room for him to do that. So that is, I just wanted to say that to you guys, that like leave room for your viewer to come into the painting. So let's do the water, because that's really going to make a big difference. So this is just my big brush, and I'm just adding that to the bottom. I'm going to take a smaller brush, and I'm going to tilt my paper, and I'm going to start dropping some of my colors in. So here's I'm going to start up here, tilting my paper, and I'm going to let it flow. And with a feather touch, I'm bringing it down. Feather touch. Feather touch. All wet into wet. I have to get some of my orange in there. So here goes the dragon's blood. You can use a smaller brush or the same large brush. I want another brush that's gonna hold a little bit more color for me. So I'm gonna use my number 10. That's gonna hold more paint and a little less water. And so I just want to add a little drama to it. Adding a little drama. This is really the story. The umbrellas, yes. The cloudy sky, yes. All of that is part of it. But the biggest part of this is right here, these long, watery reflections coming at us. That's what we came here to do. That's what we came here to do, is that. Little cobalt, little indigo. Feather touch, bringing it down, feather touch. Now, I did go a little horizontal last time, so let me just show that to you. You could take your brush and just go. Why? I don't know. It looks good. Look at that. It just brings it home. Why? I can't answer that. It just works. Now read the painting. Don't read the painting unless you do this. Don't judge the painting unless you do this. Oh, I ended up with 2 colors on my brush. Fine. Now, I'm going to just take my mat board just for a second, because I just want to do a little cropping here and show you. Don't need everything on the top, and I certainly don't need everything on the left. Maybe it's a square painting. Hey, listen, if I don't like it, I could just do one side or the other. Maybe I make it a vertical and I do that. You know, this is where, if you're not happy with the way you painted it on your paper, and I'm not, because I really want to lose that side, I really have the option. And the other thing that I'm going to suggest is that you stand up and you just get away from your painting a little bit. If you're too close, you're not going to see all the great stuff that's going on. You're going to just judge it way too fast. No. I'm just giving this horizon a little bit of a kick. Of color. This is just what watercolor is meant to do. It's just what it's meant to do, in my opinion. You know, we always see those incredible paintings that are done with such precision and such precise. It looks photographic, and it is impressive. But boy, I'd rather paint like this any day. Yep, I really have to get rid of that. This side over here. It's the easiest way to go. And then, of course, I want to do this little marks, those little Chinese lettering. I want to learn Chinese lettering. Now, you could do it with your Micron. That's not a bad idea. But I don't know. I feel like I should do it with a brush. I feel like that's more authentic if I do it with a brush. I know that's a little crazy talk, but you know. You've ever seen them, they hold the brush like this and they just have this way of painting. It's crazy. But they learn that from like a really, really, really young age. So there were two things that really meant a lot to me in this painting. A couple things. Certainly the water reflections that really, really spoke to me a lot. And I wanted to do those. The other thing were these lanterns. They really just, I so wanted to do them. So many good things in here to paint. You could really get lost easily, easily get lost. Pick and choose the little marks that you want to make. I think I want a little bit more orange in the bottom. I got to be really careful about doing this because dragon's blood is pretty intense. It's dry, so I have to make sure I blend it with water. So this was why we wanted to paint this, was the reflections. We wanted to paint the complementary colors. That's what we came to do. That's what we came here to do. It really is. I'm going to beef it up with a little bit of phthalo turquoise, just to make it pop a little bit more. Phthalo turquoise is just one of those colors that just makes a painting sing. It's so vibrant and beautiful. And the other color that I think would really look good is a little bit of the orange, the benzimita. Some little highlights. Benzimita is opaque. It's a color by Da Vinci. I don't have any others. It was just this one that I have. Just adding a little zing here and there. I'm not even looking at the photo right now. I'm just giving it, I'm giving the painting what I think it needs. That's all I'm doing. And I don't mean all I'm doing. I don't mean that in a, I mean it in a way that I'm now just looking for the things that my painting will help it. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And that little bit of turquoise, there's some artists that I've studied with that they will not, a painting isn't done until they add certain touches of turquoise. And it's actually, they have this cobalt turquoise that's really nice. And you just drop it in here and there. So that's a little bit more opaque. There it is there. And you'll see it when, you may not be seeing it right now, but you will see it. With finger painting. I want it to rest a little bit. I think I could easily keep working on it and overwork it. And I don't want to do that. But if by looking at it fresh, vertical, from a distance, even the next day, I'll do that. I will just put a painting up vertically on an easel and I'll look at it the next day with fresh eyes. I don't even know if I like that flag. I may go here. I may just be there. I don't know. I certainly don't. Maybe it doesn't look so bad, the whole flag. Certainly I don't need that inch on that right side. That's my bottom right there. Something was under there. Yeah, I'm just going to let it rest and take a look at it. I could see adding some turquoise in here, maybe a little bit of my turquoise to just have it kind of pop a little bit. I don't want to disturb what's here. I just want to amp it up a little bit. You could easily overwork it and just go a little too crazy. I could easily overwork this. I'm going to stop because there's so much I like about it that I'm just not even going to do it. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a bit. I know that went super fast, but the faster I paint, the looser I can be. I see something happening and I want it to move and I want it to be exploratory and free and loose, and then add my details later. So thanks for coming on this journey with me. This is Rainy Day People. I should have played it because that's one of my favorite songs by Gordon Lightfoot. Anyway, Jan Guarino, Fearless Watercolors, and I'll see you soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.